Direk, are you there? I want to ask you the first question. Paano nabuo yung idea about this movie, Direk? Nasa panaginip ko lang eh.
Sakto. Pareho lang. Actually, panaginipan ko din to. Many years ago. So, pero hindi ko siya inisip gawin pelikula na naginip lang ako about the whole blackout thing and the whole safe house thing. And then I just filed it away. Meron nag-commission sa akin to write a short film about the Philippines and currently living in the Philippines in the present. So I thought of reviving the whole dream, trying to turn it into a narrative. Pero hindi natuloy yon. Tapos nasayangan ako dun sa ano. So I decided to expand it about martial law and all those other layers na dumagdag. Kasi parang I just remember when I had that dream, parang na ang free association ko sa kanya talaga ay yung mga curfews during martial law. Which right. I never experienced kasi batang-bata pa ako na hindi pa siya relevant sa akin. Kasi hindi pa ako lumalabas ng bahay. Hindi pa ako pinapayagan lumabas ng bahay mag-isa. Pero for some reason, that sort of connected to me. Kasi ang martial law for someone that young who was so sheltered, ang dating niya talaga ay parang ghost story. So parang it somehow made sense to sort of like make a film about it in this manner. So yun, after that, tuloy-tuloy na.
It's also relatable at this time kasi parang may curfew din tayo direct, no? Parang pagdating ng 12, uwian na dapat. Kailangan nasa bahay na lahat. I wanted to know and hear from Glaiza and Jasmin, when you first received the script or when you were asked to do this, what came to mind, Jas?
Well, initially, yeah, when I first read it, hindi siya nag-occur sa akin to relate it agad to what is happening in our society. I just took it by what was written there, and then I was trying to figure out ano tong mga creatures na to, anong nangyayari sa safe house. I was just trying to piece the puzzle of the narrative, kung saan yung niya, parang yung magiging problematic moment niya, where will we solve it. But it seemed like all throughout when I was reading it, I felt like I was so tired reading it. Parang yung may hingal kang kasi tumatakbo yung characters namin for the most part, or parang in search. So may ganun siyang momentum when you're reading it also. And then yun na lang, nung nasa set na kami, nagtatanong na lang ako kay Direk Dodo ng mga specific scenes kung tama ba yung pagkakaintindi ko, ito ba yung reference na he intended. So parang for clarity and for an actor's intention and perspective, para tama din yung kumbaga pagkukuhanan mo ng for it, diba, to execute it the way it should be told. Yeah.
Okay, Glaiza, ikaw naman, what came to mind? Were you also weirded out by some of the scenes like Jas?
Yes, definitely. Kaya rin sobra kong na curious at naging interested sa story kasi it's something that I haven't read before, I haven't done before. So ang dami mong questions na tinatanong sa sarili mo at para kang nagsosolve ng puzzle. And I think dahil nga horror din siya, pero hindi siya yung horror na katulad na napapanood natin dati na may white lady o may manananggal o may tikbalang. I think yung horror na pinapakita ng pelikula na to ay yung horror na yung freedom mo tatanggalin sa'yo. So there's nothing more horrible than that, right? Yung dilim, yung maglakad ka sa dilim, tumakbo ka sa dilim, na uncertain ka kung anong mangyayari, kung saan ka pupunta, kung anong tataguan mo. Ayun yung isang bagay na parang shit talaga. Gusto kong gawin to. And while we were doing it, yun yung na-experience ko. And I think na-experience ko siya ngayon kasi nasa isang kwarto ako na walang bintana. Naka-quarantine ako ngayon. So parang nandun talaga, sama si Jazz, nandun yung may hingal, hindi kahit na hindi ka tumatakbo, pero yung nakakulong ka sa isang kwarto na walang bintana na hindi mo mararamdaman yung fresh air, sobrang horrible nun.
Oh, I know. Actually, I was also weirded out na parang, okay, sa trailer, di ba sabi nila, safe house. Tapos there's this black guy bigla in the safe house. I was like, it's not a safe house anymore. So parang mas lalo ako na intriga sa movie. I wanna watch it. Dino and...
May tanong
what's that, Glaiza? What's that?
Yeah, kaya may tanong dun sa, I think sa poster or something na, safe ka ba talaga?
Diba? That's an interesting question. Dino and Anthony, kayo naman, takbo din kayo dito. Hingal-hingal din. Dino?
Yeah, so ako when I got the script and I read it, talang medyo narin ako. There was a lot of questions definitely. But from the guidance from Direct Dodo, which was not he wasn't revealing everything, which was, I think it helped us in our acting. Kasi yun nga, ghost story siya, pero dahil hindi natin alam kung ano nangyayari, parang nakatulong din sa amin yung parang what's gonna happen, what is really going on out there. So while doing everything, parang okay, let's just trust the story. Tas talagang we try to give it our best execution na lang dun sa with how we interpreted it as well.
Ikaw naman, Anthony.
Oh, when I read the script, it's very Dodo Dayao kung ano man ang ibig sabihin nun. Because I work with Dodo sa Violator, but he's really good at building up tension of unknown, alam mo yun. At ang galing pumili ni Dodo ng mga words para pag binasa mo yung script niya, para siyang novel. So kapag inaarte mo rin siya, alam mo yung images na gusto niyang ma-create at kumbaga madali mo siyang puntahan in terms of beats kasi na-describe niya yung mga bagay na hindi sinasabi. So,
Right.
Yun.
I like that. Building up the tension of the unknown. I like that. Parang parang na-absorb ko siya bigla. Miss Bing, ikaw naman, kung sila hingal-hingal, were you the chill girl just smoking?
Yeah.
Why were you just chilling? Everyone was crazy. Takot na.
I was ako yung bantay ng bahay.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, I didn't know what the story was all about. In fact, I was able to watch the film once, and I was surprised how it developed because I only knew my part, and it was actually difficult because I didn't know the story behind it and why I was acting that way. So what was fed to me that day, that's all I had. So it was really difficult.
Right. But that's exciting also, no? Na
It is.
parang hindi mo alam yung una, yung dulo, sa'yo lang yung gitna. Parang ganun no? Para challenge also. All right.
The movie was the top-selling movie in the QC Cinema International Film Fest, November, December. So I would like to ask you, Glaiza and Jasmin, what are the respective roles dito? Paki-describe kung anong name nyo, anong ginawa nyo sa movie, anong characterization nyo, pati na rin the rest of the cast para malaman namin kung what are your characters that you play and what is the movie all about.
Glaiz, ikaw na mag-start?
Okay. Hello,
Glaiza, welcome home. Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you po. Anyway, I play the role of Jinka. Isa lang talaga yung word na naiisip ko when I think about her or if I'm going to describe her. She's like an enigma. Kasi compared to the rest of the cast or dun sa apat na main cast, siya lang yung walang connection. Si Jasmin, meron siyang tatay, si Dino may nanay, si Anthony, ma-define mo yung trabaho niya. Pero si Jinka, hindi mo alam kung saan siya galing, kung saan siya nagsimula. Ang tanging connection niya lang ay yung mga kaibigan niya. Pero kung i-describe ko siya bilang kaibigan, siya yung tipo ng kaibigan na sasamahan ka sa lahat ng trip mo, whether weird na trip yan, kung gusto mong mag-try ng kung ano man, sasamahan ka niya, at kung ano man yung mangyari, hindi ka naiiwan.
Okay, thank you. Si Mimi naman. Mimi.
Yes, that's me. Not Mimiya, but me. Uy, yay, I'm funny! Natawa din ako sa sarili ko. Yahoo! Pero, si Mimi, back to horror. Si Mimi, siya yung friend mo na sensible or tries to be sensible. Alam mo yon. She tries to look out for everyone in the group. Yung pag may nawala, siya yung magta-track and make sure she's on top of that, looking for that friend. Or kapag may nangyari sa isang kaibigan, siya yung mag-aalaga or magdadala sa safety doon sa kaibigan, or parang tatry na, ano yun, pangaralan? Tama ba? Tama ba yung Tagalog doon, guys? Okay, subukan niyang pangaralan yung mga kaibigan niya sa mga bagay na hindi dapat ginagawa ni Jinka, aka. So, parang yung mga ganong, yun yung personality niya. She tries to steer you into the right direction and make sure maalagaan niya kayo as a friend. So, she's the friend you want to have kung gusto mong magpakawala sa mundo and may mag-alaga pa rin sa'yo.
How about the two guys?
Sige.
Anthony, go ahead.
Character ko is Glenn. So he's a nurse, probably my age. I think in terms of political perspective, nandun siya sa conservative, a very pragmatic character. Naniniwala siya na tama yung nangyayari, or kung totoo man o hindi importante sa kanya. It's more of like importante yung epekto nung fear, nung possibility ng blackout. So doon.
Dino.
Yeah, so my character's name is Tonichi. Si Tonichi, ano siya, meron siyang mga pinapaniwalaan. Tapos he tries to be brave, pero alam niya, may idea siya kung anong nangyayari sa totoo lang. May idea siya, pero hindi niya alam kung ano ba talaga yan. So along with his friends, along with everyone, meron siyang mga iba pang hinahanap. So like Glaiza said, close yung ties niya ni Tonichi with his mom. So along with that, parang ano lang siya. He just tries to be brave, and with everything that's going on, there's just a few mysteries that he's trying to solve pa. Yeah.
Si Miss Bing Pimentel.
There. Okay. I don't remember the name of my character. Does anyone know? Anyway, the barkada kasi find themselves in a house and I'm already there. So I think my character was supposed to watch the house for whatever entity that took over that house.
Very mysterious character.
Very mysterious because I was just there, and it just so happened that they took shelter in that house and I was there.
Was it more physically or more mentally challenging to play the roles? Who wants to answer? Was it more physically or mentally challenging? Anybody?
I'll say it was more physically challenging. Ang dami naming takbo eh. But no, of course, mentally also there's some level of exhaustion there in some of the parts kasi you're not using your mind just to think of the emotions that you have to execute or the mood that you have to bring, but pati na rin yung technicalities of all the movements. There are some scenes that require us to be a bit more aware of camera movements or us to move along with it and make sure our pacing is correct. So it requires a certain rhythm na yung actors and the production team really jive together and get each other's parang kung ano ba talaga yung ina-attempt nilang gawin with their tricks or with their executions, and the same way na kami din sasabayan namin dapat yon. So I wouldn't say the mental part was exhausting. I would just say it was a good parang exercise for all of us not to get too comfortable na ito lang yung dadalhin namin sa table na yung face na with the emotions or the lines lang, but it's also the physical movement and the awareness of everyone's blocking, not just ours. So that was fun. That was really fun.
Dino, you want to add?
Yeah, for me, I would say it was both,
Yeah.
mentally and physically. Exhausting kasi, well, yun nga, sinabi ni Jasmin na takbo kami ng takbo. That was, very tiring. But specifically for me, it was challenging in the way I acted kasi when I read the script, there was no punchlines, and I'm used to just being in a comedy movie. But I took this as a great opportunity for me to expand my my career or my skill, and I'm glad that the level of talent in this movie was raised. So I had to really give it my all, and although exhausting, it was very fruitful for me. It was very satisfying. I'm just very glad to be part of this film.
Glaiza, you want to add? Miss Bing and Anthony, was it physically draining or medyo mind-fuck?
Ang masasabi ko lang, ibang-iba pong Dino Pastrano ang makikita nyo dito sa pelikulang ito. Para sa akin, feeling ko yung mental challenge ay sa mga taong manonood nito.
Audience,
So,
no?
be prepared. Be prepared, pero masasabi ko lang din na isa to sa mga dapat nyong ma-experience na pelikula.
That's intriguing, Glaiza. Miss
Salamat,
Bing,
Glaiza. Salamat dun.
Miss Bing, ikaw parang
Thank
chill
you,
ka
thank
eh.
you
So
din.
it's not physically draining for you.
No physical exertion for me. It's more mental, emotional. Kasi I didn't know what was happening, so it was difficult to put an emotion in my acting because I didn't know what was happening. So very challenging, I should say.
And Anthony, we want to hear from you.
Ako, I'd go for mental kasi mas madami akong time sa safe house eh. So isang beses lang akong tumakbo. Yung first lang. Sila kasi yung lumabas pa ulit tapos bumalik pa ulit. So I'll go for mental. I go as far as psychological kasi masarap laruin yung ni Glenn eh, na gusto niyang maging tama pero nandyan na lahat ng reasons to prove na he might be wrong.
Right.
Yung fear that he could actually be wrong. Parang yung ganong, at yung desire, yung umpog ng desire to be right. So, yun.
Bakit ba kasi kayo lumabas pa ng safe house? Safe na nga doon, Jasmin eh. Ba't pa kayo lumabas? Alam mo, naiirita ako sa mga characters na ganun.
I'm a good friend. I'm a good friend. I can't help.
Okay. May reason naman pala. Somehow it gives me like zombie movie vibes, pero walang zombie, but the zombies are the police. Parang ganon. Anyway, how was your casting process? Why pick Jazz and Glaiza? What were you looking for now in the beginning? when you were choosing choosing Jasmin and Glaiza for the roles?
Uh, Honestly, at the start, I was actually nagbaliktad yung roles. I was considering Jazz for Jinka and Glaiza for Mimi, because I think, as far as I remember, early on in the drafting of the script, mas feisty yung character ni Mimi, mas spaced out yung character ni Jinka. Pero as the writing went along, nag-change na. Tapos when we were casting, yun nga, parang I was still locked onto the original character designs. Then, ayun nga, tapos thinking about it more, nag-switch towards the end to the roles that they eventually took on. I'm familiar with their work. I've always been a fan. I've been watching their films for everyone actually in the cast. I've been watching their films for some time, and parang nasa shortlist yan ng mga artistang gusto ko makatrabaho. And actually dito sa pelikulang to, the entire lead ensemble and even some of the support like si Soliman, parang wishlist yan eh. Parang gusto ko makatrabaho yung mga yan. So I was ticking off boxes of actors that I wanted to work with. Si Anthony I've worked with before, si Miss Dolly and si Charles. Si Dino, matagal ko na rin iniligawan yan for a role. Pero, so parang wish fulfillment yung buong casting for Midnight. Ganun naman talaga yung proseso ko when I write. I try to have like actors in mind because it's easier for me to write when I can imagine their physicalities.
Right.
So yun. So
is it safe to say, Direct Dodo, that they're all handpicked by Direct Dodo?
More or less. Yes, more or less.
Wow.
Yung questions ko pa is for dun sa mga characters. So personally po, ano po yung sa tingin nyo magiging takeaway ng audience based on sa character nyo? So let's start po with Miss Jasmin.
Well, of course, I hope from my character's role dito, sana ma-take away nila na there's always a need for that one friend who can keep it together or at least try to keep it together so that you can find that actual safe house for all of you and make it till the end. And hopefully she doesn't trip out too long. Yun lang.
Kay Miss Glaiza naman po.
Natawa ako dun sa she doesn't trip out too long kasi yun yung siguro sana ma-take away nila dun sa character ko kasi siya yung nag-trip ng matagal, si Jinka. I think sana mabalanse nila yung kung ano yung safe sa hindi, or pagka gusto mong mag-explore, paano ba ito sasabihin? Ayun, mabalanse lang nila kung gusto nilang mag-party or mag-explore. Ayun, hanapin lang nila yung balance. Kung ano yung fun sa too much of a good thing. I don't know kung paano ko sasabihin. Basta, yun, huwag kayong masyadong mag-trip.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, Glaiza. Fun and too much of a fun thing, you know? That's good. Dino, ikaw naman.
I hope that when watching my character, I hope madala sila sa mangyayari sa kanya.
You've been running all throughout the film, the trailer.
Yeah. And if you see the movie from start to end, so my character goes through quite a journey, and I hope in some sense maramdaman nila yung weight ng character ko. Basta panoorin nyo.
Baka ma-spoil RJ eh, kaya medyo maingat
Oo
siya
eh.
kapag ano
Oo.
eh. Kapag,
I'm just trying to be careful, but I'm trying to also give some bits, but not too specific. Yeah.
Yeah. We get you. That's the
Of course,
hardest about promoting films eh. Medyo
I know, yeah.
ng
Timpla.
konti eh. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dino.
timpla.
Anthony, ikaw naman. Anong takeaway from your character?
No one's safe. Hindi, ang ganda kasi nung kaming lahat ng magkabarkada, very privileged na middle class, alam mo yun, normally wala ka sa laylayan. So, minsan you feel like may invisible quality, and sometimes it speaks to me na parang alam mo yun, you need to question,
right.
Are you really safe? Lang.
That makes a lot of sense too, di ba? Parang sometimes you question yourself, am I safe? Am I really safe? And lastly, of course, Miss Bing.
Okay. Well, I'm not part of the barkada, so I just wish that when the audience watch this film, I hope that I was able to give good support to this ensemble. That's it.
Okay. For example, sa inyo nangyari yung yung matrap in the middle of the midnight. So, ano yung sa tingin yung gagawin nyo para, to keep safe or to keep alive until umaga?
Sunrise?
Yeah.
Sunrise. I love that question. Okay, so what would you do if you were stuck in that midnight curfew? Actually, ang magandang question nga, Bernard, where would you want to be?
Yeah, pwede din.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Miss Bing, go ahead.
Sa disco.
Specifically where, Miss Bing? I wanna hear a name.
Louis Y!
Saan yon, Miss Bing? Where's that located?
Intercon.
Hotel Intercon sa basement.
Basement.
Yes!
Or Coco Banana. That was my favorite. Kasi all the fun people were there.
Ani Batumbakal, is that you?
The designers were all in Coco Banana. So that was my favorite hangout. I was modeling back then. So, we would always...
Actually, a good idea kasi walang bintana. Yun ang sabi, dapat kailangan walang bintana. Diba?
Thinking and having fun and dancing. So,
No, I know.
in a disco.
So Bernard, ang sagot ni Miss Bing, dancing ang ginagawa niya in a disco. That's a good answer. Dino, ikaw, nasan ka?
Ako, bahay, natutulog. After midnight, I mean, I'll just be at home, I'll avoid. Ako talaga parang, well, kahit naman sa, when nagkaroon ng lockdown noong March, I just follow the rules.
No, like pre-pandemic.
Yeah. So,
where were you? Like 12 midnight?
Oh. Yeah, probably just at home.
At home pa rin?
Yeah. Just at home.
So Bernard, homebody kasi si Dino talaga. So sa bahay.
Yeah, so I just want to be comfy, be with my sheets or my girlfriend.
Dino, I have to...
Huh?
Hmm?
What?
Ako din Dino. I have
Right.
homebody din.
Let's go to Jasmin now. Jasmin, nasa
Pre-pandemic. Home lang din. I like to stay home. Even pre-pandemic, when friends would ask me to go out and hang out at their place, bago mag-midnight, actually, gusto ko na umuwi. Pero, I'll go drinking with them if they want. Pero, pag midnight na yung parang, may mauna na bang uwi? Sabay na ako. Yung parang naghahanap ka na ng kasama makauwi para you're not the last one. Kasi when you're the last one there, you're the last one there, that's usually like, you don't know what's gonna happen next. So, yeah, yun yung iniwasan ko sa sarili ko.
I feel you. Anthony, ikaw naman.
Well, I'll answer the question what I'll do. I'll stay where I am. Won't go. At kung saan sana, roof deck na may cocktail at pool.
at least yun hindi na maaabot ng mga zombies or ng mga police, no? So medyo safe na yun. Glaiza, ikaw naman, nasan ka?
Ako, exciting yung magiging sagot ko. Sa bahay din. Hindi kasi, nagsimula yung lockdown, nasa bahay lang din talaga ako. Katulad ni Jazz, minsan magme-makeup pa nga ako ng excuse para lang hindi ako makalabas. Kasi, alam mo yung tinatamad ka na. Siguro dati nung mga medyo bata-bata pa ako, at umuuwi ako ng mga alas 3, alas 4 ng madaling araw, at sinasabihan ako ng nanay ko na kapag ka tumanda ka, mapapagod ka rin. Alam mo yun? So, napagod na ako. At saka, nakayanan ko nung pandemic, nasa baler kasi ako. So, na-enjoy ko yung bahay. Parang, yung work din kasi, parang, naging demanding siya for me for the past couple of months before the pandemic. So, hindi talaga ako nakakauwi sa bahay, which made me miss yung bahay ko. At mas na-appreciate ko rin yung bahay namin sa Baler. Nakahiligan ko magluto, nakahiligan ko ng magtanim-tanim, magdilig ng halaman. In short, naging tita na ako officially. So, yes, bahay kasi parang feeling ko nandun yung comforts nandun lahat ng uri ng comforts nasa bahay.
Direct Dodo kaya Bernard, tanong lang natin.
Sige,
Direct
go.
Dodo, where would you be?
Sa bahay din.
Bahay din, right near next year.
Papaumaga sa Big Sky.
Ikaw Bernard, babalik ko yung tanong sa'yo, nasan ka pag 12 midnight?
Syempre, bahay din.
Bahay din. Bahay lang din talaga. That's the
safest
unanimous
place,
answer.
yeah.
Go ahead with your second question, Bernard.
Yeah, my second question is for Direk Dodo Dayao. Direk, paano nyo po minount yung buong movie? Kasi parang nakadepend siya dun sa atmosphere lang para maging eerie yung dating. So, I'm just curious, paano nyo siya, or gaano kahirap i-mount yung buong pelikula na parang puro atmosphere lang yung gusto nyong ipakita?
Well, iba-iba no? Kasi like dun sa Safe House, gumawa talaga kami ng set for it. So, nag-factor in talaga yung team, like production design team, tsaka yung cinematography team into yung pero dun sa Blackout, I think in many ways dahil hindi naman to Hollywood film na maraming pera, we were sort of freed from overthinking yung proseso. So parang down back to basics na lang, na parang particularly yung sa Blackout, parang kailangan namin ng maraming eksena ng ilaw lang ay cellphone. So inilawan lang talaga namin ang cellphone. So it's ganun siya ka rock and roll in many ways, tsaka ka-organic. Pero yung mga ibang stuff like yung mga stuff na hindi ko pwedeng sabihin dahil spoilers, yon medyo kailangan ng pagplano ng team kung paano siya i-construct. Marami kasing nangyari dun sa loob ng Safe House na medyo technical problem siya sa pre-prod pa lang. So yun nagkaroon talaga ng mabusising pagplano. Pero hindi, siya, medium scale lang naman siya. Tapos, dinadaan lang talaga sa resourcefulness ng team, tsaka yung creative. Pero yung sa Blackout, yun, talagang, talagang rock and roll na lang talaga. Effective naman, hopefully.
Okay. That's all my question. Thank you, guys.
Salamat Bernard. Thank you for throwing those questions sa ating cast.
I guess I have to start with Dodo. Kasi interesting for me. Actually, twice ko siya napanood sa Q Cinema. So, stockholder niyo ako. Charot. I saw it twice sa Q Cinema.
What can you say?
Actually, katulad niyo, I'm very tied up with my emotions. I can't make it up as a question. So, I guess I'm gonna try to fit it in for everyone na walang nasa spoil. Tsaka natanong na rin siya earlier. So, it's a good thing. So, first is for Dodo. Kasi I understand, isa sa interesting highlights of the film is the cinematography. So I've noticed that you've actually worked with Jim Lumbera and Albert Banzon for this one and for Violator. So, how did you three pieced everything together, especially since the Violator pa lang, you guys perfectly shot it in the dark. So, dito, spoiler alert, medyo may dark scenes din. So, could you share with us how you three pieced it all together?
Yeah, actually yun nga yung parang running joke kasi ang daming ang pinaka main criticism and praise for Violator was that it was too dark. So ngayon, gumawa na kami ng pelikula tungkol sa dilim para ano. And I think yun nga, I think yung what we sort of like learned from making Violator and we sort of applied that here. Alam naman namin na challenging yung especially the third act of the film would be very very challenging. So we sort of like kept that na parang tsaka na to kasi we were like figuring out the first two acts kung paano siya gagawin. Paano ba? Mahirap din kasi siya i-dissect kasi very organic yung proseso namin tatlo. We normally just like spend time jamming about films, about photography, trying out ideas amongst ourselves muna. And then figuring out paano siya i-execute. It gets very technical at some point kung anong camera yung pwedeng gamitin tsaka rigs. Pero I think yung the fact that we're friends then who are also sort of like parang cinephiles. May shorthand na kami in terms of language na parang madali na ako magsabi for example kung ano yung gusto kong mangyayari. Tapos madali na rin mag-communicate back yung dalawa in terms of what they think should be either better or an alternative. Usually naman walang nasusunod na isa. It always becomes a synergy. Naku ko nasasagot to yung tanong mo, Princess, pero kasi hindi siya by the numbers. It's very different with each film, particularly compared to Violator kasi first film ko yun tapos lahat kami galing sa parang DIY kind of filmmaking na very experimental. So wala kaming experience with for lack of a better term, a mainstream film. So, yung sensibility na yun nadala namin dito to a certain degree, yung playfulness tsaka yung constantly experimenting and trying to figure out things. Pero mas informed na kami. Mm-hmm. 6 na taon na rin yung nakaraan tapos rumaraket na rin kami kung saan-saan. So madaming, tas yung technology din nag-upgrade na to sort of meet yung requirements ng film.
Mm-hmm.
So yun, I think yung pinaka catalyst of everything was nung napili na namin yung camera.
Mm-hmm.
Saka kung ano yung rig na gagamitin.
What's the camera? Just for our student film, audiences.
Sony Venice.
Oh, Sony Venice. Okay, thank you. Okay, kasi very interesting since if you're gonna watch the horror films from the 90s going towards the 2000s, madilim siya. So, commendably, your films are actually, kahit na shot sila mostly in the dark, kita mo siya, yun nga, kagaya ng sabi ni Bernard earlier, very atmospheric. So, isang question pa and then one bonus question for everybody. For you, since it's an ensemble piece, kasi for us na critics, it's so hard to point out sino yung best actor or best actress. So when you sent them the scripts, was it like, like for example, kay Miss Ping Pimentel, line niya lang. And then for Dino, line niya lang, ganun. And so, and for Miss Jasmin and Miss Glaiza, lines lang nila. Was it like that? Or, how was the whole process of writing the whole script? Kasi personally, it's one of the most uniquely interesting scripts that I've ever seen, visually. I couldn't imagine how it was written kasi parang like what Miss Ping Pimentel said, sa kanya, yung script niya, sa kanya lang. Pero when I saw her, spoiler alert, when I saw her performance, it felt like she knew what everyone was thinking. So, yeah. Could you share with us, kahit short snippet lang?
And I had to finish the script in like 2 months. from zero, from scratch. So parang it was very whirlwind yung proseso ng pagsulat. But I think the important thing was that I was very keyed in dun sa characters. Medyo kilala ko sila from the onset, so it was very easy for me to write the characters. And kasi parang it's a very very templated siya na genre piece kasi it's a haunted house film. Usually maglalagay ka lang ng characters sa bahay. Yung bahay yung magtatrabaho for the whole film eh. Siya yung gagawa ng trabaho kasi character siya in and of itself. I think yung layer lang of yung, I hate to say politics kasi pero yung layer lang of just who these characters were. Even yung character ni Miss Bing na I think even the way she dressed, I was sort of trying to telegraph kung ano siya. I mean, parang bis na bis siya. Parang galing nga talaga siya sa disco nung gabing yun. Which was intentional, I think, because you had so very little room to sort of like flesh out the characters kasi it was all about the events. Kaya kailangan ma-telegraph agad yung kung ano sila and hopefully ma-pick up. So every choice was deliberate in terms of even on the script page na malinaw na originally sa script, full disclosure, yung suot ni Miss Bing ay parang si Maggie Chung sa In the Mood dahil sobrang lakas ng influence ng In the Mood sa film. Pero I think it still translated into the film kasi she had to be elegant. Tapos si Jinka, si Glaiza was supposed to be very parang medyo punk yung suot. Tapos si Mimi was the way she was, very girlish and very very authoritative yung ano. Tapos si Glenn was totally neutral yung costume kasi scrub nurse siya eh. Tapos si Dino was yung kung ano yung suot niya, which was very rugged, geeky, rugged, whatever. So even down to the how they wore, how they dressed, sa script naka-specify yon as a sort of like tangential way to sort of like create the character, flesh it out more kasi yun nga eh, wala kang masyadong room to give them that much of that much space to sort of like be more apparent through their actions. So kaya yun. Tapos isang gabi lang halos yung buong film. So yun, ewan ko kung nasagot ko ulit.
Yes, nasagot mo naman. Thank you.
Pero yun, mabilis lang talaga siya. Sobrang bilis siya that was the fastest I've ever written a script.
Oh, okay. Kasi kahit yung sila Sabine, yung basta the three other supporting, they're very interesting characters. So I guess my
favorite ko, si Kendrick was talagang
siya as is siya.
Bumagsak talaga siya sa page na parang okay, Kendrick.
Siya yun.
So it was very clear sa akin kung ano siya. So, parang doon ako nag-identify doon sa tulak. Sorry.
Oo. Siyempre, na lang, spoiler alert na lang yun.
Siyempre, diba? Parang lost in translation ako. Parang ano kaya yung pinag-uusapan nila?
Sorry po.
To watch it.
Yes.
Princess, go ahead. Next question.
My last question for everybody. If you're gonna, not necessarily spoil the film, pero if you're going to describe in 2 words, ayan, para hindi masyado mahirap, your favorite scene out of the whole film, what would it be? So let's start, I guess, with...
So describe your favorite scene in 2 words. Parang ganun. All right. Okay. Let's start with Anthony.
Horrific and scary. Ang weird. Yun yung dalawa yung lumabas. Halos parehas lang, pero yeah.
All right. Dino, ikaw.
I would say painful and shucks. Yeah, I would call it also horrific. Yeah.
Painful and horrific. Miss
Yeah.
Bing?
My favorite scene. Yeah.
I can't think of the
word.
Not the word, but it's strange and compelling. That's it.
Compelling. Strange and compelling. Glaiza?
Ako, riot. Tsaka eerie.
Riot and eerie. Jazz?
I was gonna say eerie too. But I'll say 2 words, I guess. One is hallway, just so that people can watch out for that scene. And the other word is endless. That's it.
Endless. Princess, doon sa mga binanggit nilang mga words, nagka-idea ka kung saan nila kinuha yung mga scenes na yon?
Yes. Actually, favorite ko yung kay Dino kasi I understand why he said painful.
Okay.
And of course, favorite ko sa lahat. Parang the way that they said it is like, nag-flashback ulit yung
Flashback sa'yo
mga
lahat.
scenes.
Oo.
Yes.
Now, before you go, let me ask you this. How do you find the movie?
It's the most seamlessly made sexy film of 2020. Yun na lang.
Sexy? Sexy
Yes.
film?
Sexy, scary.
How
Opo.
can you marry sexy with horror?
Panoorin nyo sa January 29.
Wow! Meron tayong extra cast member dito.
May scene kasi nakatopless ako dun. Kaya baka
Yeah.
yun yun.
Iba din naman pala yung Dino the guy.
Kasi yun.
All right, thank you, Princess.